Today's video is called Undoing the Illusion to See Truth, Guided and Willed by the Holy Spirit. I have no idea what is going to come through. I was just very guided love to share my love for A Course in Miracles and to share my love for Christ, and also to share more about the revelations that I have been awakening to in the deep prayer to help those that are also seekers of truth and seeking to awaken fully this lifetime. So undoing the illusion to see the truth is awakening to love, awakening to the love that you are. And we have been programmed since the time that we have come into these bodies that we believe in the separation, we believe in the ego, in the mind trick of the ego and its intelligence of making us believe that we are these separate bodies, that we are not true love, that we need to be in fear, we need to control, we need to manifest our way through life. When in A Course in Miracles perspective, the script of your life has already been written, because it is ego. So in that moment, it's connecting. Okay, in that moment when you came into this realm, there was already a divine plan to help you awaken, and that is with the help of the Holy Spirit. And so the ego has many tricks, and the tricks is specialness for one of them, like when we'll say like light workers, they have more specialness, or they're more embodied than others. When there is only one, we find a sort of special hate or special love, and that's what the ego loves. It loves to be more special, it loves to be better than others, it loves to judge others, it loves to find special love in certain special relationships and not others, find special hate in other relationships instead of just loving one another, as seeing your brother, seeing your sister as a reflection of you, because all is one. But the ego doesn't like to even accept this idea, because the ego loves to be separate. It loves to be in specialness. And when we have all of these boundaries and borders and limitations and illusions, it actually blocks us from bringing in the truth of who we are, which is abundance, naturally, love, naturally, pure, perfect perfection, naturally. So the ego has these tricks that it plays every single day within us, within all of us, until you awaken from the dream completely. And the ego is always going to seek that lack. It's always going to seek outside to fill it. It's always going to base its peace or base its happiness on external things, when in the highest truth, when you start working on awakening to the one mind, to the highest truth, and start undoing the ego, a peace and a love will be coming into you that's beyond this world, because this world is a creation of the ego, and that's why it just continues to be more chaotic. It continues to have wars, it continues to have more separation, because that is the nature of how this whole dream was created. And so I have some notes I would like to share with you that I had written down while studying A Course in Miracles. And it says all fears that people have can be directly traced at the level of the unconscious mind to the fear of God, because the ego created this creation and now fears God because it miscreated. But God is, it says in A Course in Miracles, God is nothing else. God is only perfect love. God doesn't see sin. God doesn't even see you as a body. God only sees us as spirit, innocent, perfect, whole, and complete. So this unconscious mind is a result of the seeming separation from Him, but God isn't a him or a her. It would basically be called an it, because it doesn't have a gender, but for the context of A Course in Miracles, it uses him. And the unconscious guilt is a result of that. So the ego has done a beautiful job in showing that this unconscious guilt is outside of us, but it's all actually a projection from the mind. And once you start undoing the ego a little bit by little bit, you see that this is a projection from the mind. And so, A Course in Miracles, what it says is you can actually imagine that you're sitting in a movie theater with Yeshua next to you and you're just reviewing your life because the script has already been written. That's why people don't realize how much the ego has invested in the dream and invested in you making it real, you making it think that it's so important and that your specialness is so important. When we come together in unity and we come together in realizing that we are all the same, from the same source, made in the same image and likeness of God, we can forgive fully, because we see that that forgiveness is the same forgiveness that we give ourselves. And that is where we will find salvation, when we realize that we have created this all and we just keep continuing to miscreate. And that's why Yeshua, what he's done for us is so much more beyond than we can even perceive in the mind. A Course in Miracles is the greatest spiritual masterpiece that has ever been gifted to us within the dream, because it's a clear pathway home. It's a clear pathway to that heaven awareness. And that's why Buddha and Christ, they don't ever have to reincarnate in a body again, because there's no unconscious guilt in the mind. And when there is unconscious guilt in the mind, you will have to continue to come back into the body until you fully awaken to heaven awareness. And the ego has a beautiful way of continuing this illusion, because it wants you to be very invested in the dream world. And so heaven isn't just closeness to God, it's oneness with God completely. You're never separated from that. So the application of the workbook is everything, because the application of A Course in Miracles is what actually will do the proper mind training. And in A Course in Miracles, it says that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing. So when your mind isn't trained, or you don't know how to fully connect with the Holy Spirit and connect with God within, then you're just going to always be listening to the ego, or thinking that the ego is real, or thinking the ego is who you are, when who you are truly is just pure spirit and pure divine love. And yeah, there are some comments on here. Heaven is now. When you hear your breathing, you're truly present with no thought. Just breathe. Breath is unconditional life force for all. So that's beautiful for this realm, but from A Course in Miracles perspective, it's more about training the mind. And the breath, yeah, definitely I've realized through Kundalini Yoga, the breath is guided and directed. The breath can guide and direct the mind. But there's nothing like A Course in Miracles workbook mind training, that actually every single day Yeshua has gifted us a certain level of embodiment that we can read and we can awaken to. So undoing the illusion is in every moment. We can choose in every moment that love. We can choose in every moment heaven. We can choose in every moment joy. And when we start thinking with the Holy Spirit, walking with the Holy Spirit, and doing the proper mind training, then we actually awaken within, and we have such a different perspective of life. We have such a different perspective that happens. So within the dream world, we can have a lot of loss. We can lose a loved one, we can lose a sister, a pet. For me, I lost my dear soul sister, my Luisito, this year. And from A Course in Miracles perspective, what that gives us is that the body is gone, but the soul and the spirit is eternal. So when there's been a transition in one's life, it's a huge opening for us to remember that eternity, to remember that we never lost anything, even if it's just like a relationship that has seemingly ended. But really, in the highest truth, no relationship actually ever ends, because we're all one. And so even though in the dream it seems like it's ended, it doesn't actually ever end, because it's one love, one heart, one soul, one mind, that is separated off into different bodies. And that's the trick of the ego. That's what the okay, the internet is kind of going in and out that I had. So yeah, anything can be cured through proper forgiveness. The forgiveness in A Course in Miracles is way different than just the forgiveness that maybe you've heard of or that you know. The forgiveness is always at the cause, and the cause is the separation. The cause is the separation that we believe that we have missed from God. The connection is going a little in and out. The forgiveness, okay, the connection is not so good, so I'm gonna just I'm gonna go live on another day about